Technology and Communication Services Committee meeting. I, Kevin O'Toole, is the chair. Chris Thiessen, Wendy Bosch, and Jackie Clayton are also on the committee. I'm looking for the adoption of the agenda. Mr. Thiessen, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair O'Toole. I would move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. The motion's in order, and we're good to go. We have no delegations. That's carried unanimously. We have no delegations. We have two reports. 4.1 is the service area update. And Ms. McCracken, can you please go ahead?
Thank you, Chair. For the service area update today in Executive Services and Strategy, it's a busy time of year for us right now with school visits to City Hall. We've had 2 recent visits in the last month, and we've got another 3 planned for the next few weeks. For the City Clerk's Office, Census Day in the City of Grande Prairie begins tomorrow. Census enumerators will be canvassing the city to place individual unique PIN door knockers on every residential dwelling across the city over the next week. We're asking residents to use this unique PIN to go online to complete a very quick 6-question census. And thanks to everyone in advance. We're counting on you to count yourself in. For corporate communications, just an update. We have a resident satisfaction survey we're currently working on. We're just finalizing steps right now, and it will be going live May 13th. Intergovernmental affairs. The province has introduced 2 pieces of legislation in the past couple of weeks, Bill 18 and Bill 20, which propose quite a few changes to municipal elections and governance, as well as the relationship between the province and the municipalities. So we're just doing some research and looking at that to determine the impact on our municipality. Intergovernmental Affairs also participated in the Municipal Affairs Review on Intermunicipal Collaboration Frameworks, ICFs, sharing thoughts on improving the process and legislation. In human resources, we recently hosted a session with our Municipal Leadership Academy where we had 3 leaders come in for a panel discussion with our participants. So extend appreciation to President Vanessa Shane from NWP, our CAO Shane Burke, and Chief Dan Lemieux for being the panelists for that. In corporate marketing, we saved over $13,000 in printing for the National Aboriginal Hockey Championship rink boards, thanks to a collaboration between GIS, Designs Works Center, and corporate marketing. And in regard to our census that I just mentioned, marketing has begun including producing the door hangers with unique pins and codes, as well as residents who fill out their census within published timelines will be entered to win grocery gift cards. Visit the cityofgp.com census for details on that. And our marketing team was also involved with the City of Grande Prairie booth at the Spring Home and Garden Show on April 19th to 21st. Several of our events and programs were showcased. Marketing staff, along with experts from Parks and Planning and Development, manned that booth. And as well, on April 20th, the same weekend, we helped to staff the Earth Day event co-hosted with the County of Grande Prairie, which was a success with close to 900 people in attendance. And that's our highest attendance yet. And for Access GP, we've seen an increase in walk-in visits to our front counter here at City Hall, primarily involving transactions regarding transit passes, processing Explore GP applications, renewing animal licenses, and obtaining residential fire permits. And with that, I can take any questions.
That's a pretty good length report. You've covered a lot this last month. All right. Looking for around the table. Any questions? I see none. So thank you for that report. I've got item 4.2, Chief McEachran, local government fiscal framework.
Thank you, Chair O'Toole. So this item is report that our Director Tarrant is going to provide on the local government fiscal framework advocacy that we are looking to undertake in regards to, in particular, the tangible capital assets relating to Aquaterra. And with that, I will pass it over to Mr. Tarrant.
Thank you, and thank you, Chair O'Toole. A couple months ago, the province released the LGFF, the allocation formula for the new capital funding program that is available to all municipalities within the province. One of the changes that was made was that there was a few extra components or new components into the allocation formula. The one that we're particularly concerned about today is tangible capital assets, or TCAs. There is a 25% weighting for these types of assets. And essentially what happens is every year municipalities throughout the province submit a financial information return where they list the value of all their assets and the amortization value of those assets for the municipality. And now the province will be taking those asset values and giving a weighting towards the amount of LGFF funding we get. For the City of Grande Prairie and for the other three shareholders of Aquaterra, one of the impacts of this formula change is that we do not receive credit for the assets that Aquaterra owns. And so because of that, there is a reduction in our LGFF formula, and our estimate is in that $400,000 to $500,000 a year range that we're missing out on LGFF dollars because those assets are not included. So with that, we've embarked on some advocacy with looking at having the province include those Aquaterra assets and providing a mechanism for us to be able to include them. Our thoughts are that these assets are funded throughout the province and other municipalities. Core water and wastewater assets are funded through this mechanism, and we feel that ours should be as well. With that, we have also engaged the other Aquaterra shareholders and asked them to see if they would provide letters of support. Since writing this report, we have received letters of support from Sexsmith and from Wembley, and we're just awaiting letter of support from the county as well. With that, our recommendation is that committee recommend council direct the mayor to write a letter to the provincial government requesting the changes to how the LGFF allocations are determined.
All right. Oh, I got lots of people in the queue there. You hit something sensitive. Mayor Clayton.
Maybe not sensitive, but important. And I think that we've already been doing advocacy work on this. We've already had conversations publicly. I'm just wondering, do we really, great, happy to support it. I just don't know if this is required as a motion. It's already been an advocacy priority, and we've already discussed with our municipal partners, but I'm happy to support it and make the motion or support the motion when one of my colleagues is prepared. Thanks.
Okay. Councillor Thiessen.
Yeah, thank you very much. I agree a bit with Mayor Clayton, but I take great pleasure in directing the mayor to do anything. So I will likely make this motion. And I thank you for the work that you put into this, Mr. Tarrant. I guess my question that I have is, in 1999, when we established Aquaterra, what happened with that establishment was the transfer of all assets to them, which had a bit of a cash value attached to it. I don't know what they did back then. I haven't dive through the history on that, but can that work against us in this request or ask? Would they say, well, you've already made money off of the transfer of assets through shares or whatever? Can the province come back to us and say, this is why we're not going to entertain this request?
Through the chair and our CFO may have additional information, but from my knowledge, the assets are treated equally across the province, and the the same determination that's made in any other municipality is made for the city assets as well, which transferred over to Aquaterra. So in terms of the valuation of those assets, that would be treated the same, and there is regular amortization and depreciation on those assets that would be provided in the same way and same manner as other municipalities. And so we don't see that as a stumbling block that would be anything different from our including our assets within the formula versus other municipalities.
If I may have a supplemental, Mr. Chair?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so just a question. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So someone like the City of Edmonton, they have their own water and power company, so they can use those assets to their advantage when they're writing for their grants. How does that work in regards to like ACO? We just transferred a bunch of streetlights to them. We wouldn't be able to include that in our asset count, would we? Considering that we paid for them and then transferred and had them bought out. But it seems kind of similar to Aquaterra, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Through the chair, so for the purpose of the LGFF formula, the province has excluded all utilities that are gas and electric. So those are not included. So for some municipalities that do own, electrical or gas processing facilities, those are not included by any means.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Bressie, go ahead.
Thanks for indulging me, Chair O'Toole. It's just, this was my work for about 3 years, so I can't resist getting in. I also think for me, the big thing with the province is right now, we're facing a huge issue with water, wastewater in the province, municipalities being able to fund it. And a lot of that is because there's redundant systems in the province. I literally know places where there's pipes of one municipality running parallel to pipes of another municipality 3 feet below each other because they couldn't figure out how to work together regionally. It's such a waste of money, and Alberta's not a place where we can waste that money anymore. And so for us, Aquaterra really is what the province should want all municipalities to do, to really work together well as a region. And for me, it's such a no-brainer that we don't get punished for doing what really other municipalities should do, is getting together with the partners and saying, how are we going to run a system together rather than doing it on our own. And so I really am glad to see this here. It's whether motion passes or not. I don't really care because I think we have been advocating for this, but I'm really glad to see that we're working with other shareholders now to get them advocating too, because this isn't just a City of Grande Prairie issue. This really is a all shareholders issue. And if our model can incentivize regional collaboration across the province, it really is an all Alberta issue as well. So I'm glad to see we're doing work on this.
Thank you very much for your input and answers. And was looking for someone to make that motion, Mr. Thiessen.
Thank you very much, Chair O'Toole. Thank you again for the report, Mr. Trott. It is with great pleasure that I move that committee recommend council direct our beloved mayor to write a letter to the provincial government requesting changes to how LGFF allocations are determined.
Yeah, it's missing.
Mayor Clayton.
I just wondered if you'd be open to a friendly amendment. I don't think this needs to have another step of going to council. Committee can direct amend the mayor to write the letter and just get on with it.
That sounds very friendly, and like I directed you myself without the council backing me. Thank you. Yeah, friendly amendment is accepted.
All right. I will call for the vote. It passes unanimously. With that, we have no correspondence, other business, or bylaw policy reviews, but we do have an outstanding items list. Chief McEachran?
Thank you, Chair. There's no changes recommended to the outstanding items list at this time.
I got Miss.
Seems like that's what I'm doing today.
Go ahead.
I move committee receive the April 30th outstanding items list as presented for information.
Thank you. And call for the vote. And that passes unanimously, and that is the last item of business for this day for this committee, and I call the meeting adjourned.